I'm Maxwell Futchie, and this is Track by Track with Max. Broken Arrow, a picture frame, 50th Anniversary Deluxe Sunshine Factory Edition. 2 discs. You can get the album on CD or vinyl with the Deluxe Sunshine Factory Edition cover. Disc 1, the full original 1970 album. Disc 2, bonus material. And if you're interested in hearing some of the bonus material, check out this month's Sunshine Factory Outlet Show. 24-page color booklet talking about the making of the album with lots of great pictures. The poster called Hippie Camper with the lineup of the band with Francis Futchie in the group, all hippied out in the back of a camper. You can get the 3 singles either on 45 vinyl or on CD with all the original artwork. So let's get into the last 4 tracks. Part 3, which is more of side 2 of Broken Arrow, a picture frame. Track number 12, Mr. Soul, written by Neil Young, Zach Futchie, and myself under the moniker Randy California. It is another great example of how involved Neil Young was in helping us make this record. He sings lead on 2 songs on this side. After producing our record and performing with us, Neil was going to record a solo album. So we returned the favor, and we were his backup band on the album After the Gold Rush, which is sort of a cool rock and roll fact nugget for people out there. Because I don't think a lot of people know that we were the session musicians in the backup band for his solo album. And that was a lot of fun, playing on his album too.
Trace of my face could seem so pleasing. I'll cop out to the change, but a stranger is putting the tease on. I was down on the frown when the messenger brought me a letter. I was raised by the praise of a fan who said I upset her. Strange, but don't change, and I let her.
Okay, that was Mr. Soul with lots of crazy stuff going on in it and a really cool sound. Neil Young playing lead guitar and doing lead vocals, Zach on drums, Francis on bass, Penny on the organ, and I'm playing rhythm. Next up is a song that's very personal for me. It's called Jeepster, a song that I wrote to replace another song that I was having trouble with. I was working on this song for the album called You Know What I Mean, that I really liked and felt strongly should be on the record. And I'll admit that even at the time, I knew it was a little too funky for the Futchies, maybe a little too R&B, a little too, maybe street at the time. I mean, it sounded urban, let's put it that way. But with tracks like A Picture Frame Special Care and Any Way You Want Me having serious grooves already being on the album, I felt like I had established the sort of funky side of the record. And even though You Know What I Mean was the funkiest thing that we would have ever done up to that point, I still feel like it would have been a sonic fit for the album, that it would fit sonically on the album. The rest of the band just couldn't wrap their heads around it. We ran through it a couple times and it just wasn't sticking. And as a band, we had a rule that if we ran through it, whatever it was, if we ran through a song a couple times and still didn't find an angle to make it futchy, and we weren't feeling it, that we, weren't going to force it and that we could just, move on. And, if the idea was strong enough for something that you felt strongly enough about, then, it's something that you could revisit or try again or try on the next project after you reworked it a little. But this song, no matter how I delivered it to the rest of the group, just didn't seem to gel or work. Now, I tell you that story to tell you this. So I eventually gave up on that song and started working on another song in its place. And that was what became this song, Jeepster, which is still probably one of the funkiest things on the album, if not the funkiest thing on the album. And is a little departure to this sort of sound we were building at that time. But it was something I felt strongly about, to have a little bit of more soul on the record. And even though this song Jeepster is nowhere near as soulful or R&B as You Know What I Mean, I'm still really glad that I got it on the record. Incidentally, you know what I mean, in its finished form, as good as I figured we could get it, and I'm pretty proud of it. I wish it was on the actual release. Can be found in the bonus material on this 50th anniversary edition from the Sunshine Factory. So check that out if you get a chance. That was Jeepster. Vocals by me, drums by Zach. I played lead guitar on that, Francis on bass, and Penny on organ and piano. This track is the second to the last cut on the album, and it is the title track of the album. It's another Neil deal, as Scooter would put it. Neil put a lot of snippets of other recordings and different kinds of music and sound effects in this album, and this song, Broken Arrow, I think has the most of those kind of things. I wrote it with Neil. Neil does sing lead vocals on it and plays lead guitar. I play rhythm guitar and clarinet, incidentally. I'll explain that in a second. Zach on drums and Penny playing the piano and the organ. Francis on bass guitar. Now, speaking of Penny playing the piano, she has sort of like a weird jazz piano breakdown at the end. That was all her idea. And because I play saxophone, I tried my best to play the clarinet for her. So that's me playing the clarinet and her playing the piano at that funky sort of ending there to Broken Arrow.
Turned on and the curtain fell down, and when it was over it felt like a dream. They stood at the stage door and begged for a scream. The agents had paid for the black limousine that waited outside in the rain. Did you see them? Did you see them? Did you see them in the river? They were there to wave to you. Could you tell that the empty quiver, brown skin, Indian on the banks that were crowded and narrow, held a broken arrow? Did you see him? Did you see him in the river? He was there to wave to you. Could you tell that the empty quiver, brown skin, Indian on the banks that were crowded streets were lined for the wedding parade. The queen wore the white of the county of song. The black-covered case on her horses had drawn protected her king from the sun rays of dawn. They married for peace and were gone. Did you see them? Did you see them? Did you see them in the river? They were there to wave to you. Could you tell that the empty quiver, brown-skinned Indian on the banks that were crowded and narrow held a broken arrow?
That was Broken Arrow, the title track to the album, with that crazy little jazz outro there. That was all Penny's idea, and that was a lot of fun. It's kind of a strange track, but I think that's why we chose it as the name of the album, because it was kind of sizing up to be a different. That's for sure. We'll use that word, I guess, over strange, a different record for us, but a good direction. And incidentally, I talk about how Max likes to put lots of snippets of other recordings and different kinds of sounds and things into the songs. He did sort of connect a lot of the songs on side one and a couple on side two with sort of a rainstorm sound effect. And that particular track right there that we just heard, Broken Arrow, starts off with a live recording of a song that we played 2 tracks ago, and that was Mr. Soul. And only instead of Neil Young singing it, I'm singing lead on that at a live performance of that song. And we played that song. I don't know exactly where that recording is from. It would take me a little while to listen to it and think back to where we had performed that song live before recording it on the album. But he somehow got a hold of it and spliced it into the very beginning of that Broken Arrow track. Okay, this is the last track of the record. It's another euphoric type thing that seems to elevate at the end, so we decided to use it as the last track on side 2 and bookend the second side with these 2 songs that sort of elevate you and bring you up and have this elevating sound, a lot like Ramble Tamble and Elevation, the first track on side 2. So to finish out the album, we did this song called Effigy that I wrote with Francis Futchie. It was probably one of the second or third things I wrote with him after he joined the group. And it's another one of the highlights on the album and one of my favorite songs.
There should die. Who is burning? Who is burning? Effigy. Who is burning? Who is burning? Effigy. Why, effigy.
Okay, well, that does it. That's the last track on Broken Arrow, a picture frame, the 50th anniversary deluxe Sunshine Factory edition. There are some more tracks, but they're on the bonus disc. You get 2 discs with this, and those songs will be featured on this month's Sunshine Factory outlet show. Also, one kind of neat thing that you get in this package that I think a lot of Futchie fans look for or try to get or talk about is you get a poster of the photo that is famously called Hippie Campers. It's all of us hippied out in the back of a camper, and the lineup is from this album. So Scooter is not there. It's Francis Futchie and Zach, myself, and Penny in the back of this sort of trailer type camper thing, they put on the back of your truck. The photo was taken by Jennifer Young, who was a friend of the family and also was taking a lot of pictures of us around that time. We had our professional photographer, Nancy Tucker, but she was getting so much into film that she was barely taking any still photos of us anymore. She was filming us all the time. So we brought Jennifer Young in to take pictures of us, and she took a bunch of pictures that day of us in that sort of like overly hippie garb. Our faces painted and wearing crystals on our foreheads and all kinds of weird medallions and stuff. So there's a bunch of those pictures, but that one in the back of the camper seems to have some sort of power to it that people really like. And you can get that poster inside this deluxe Sunshine Factory edition package. One last note about the album and where we recorded it in San Francisco at Moberg Studios. We liked that place so much, and we're kind of looking for a home around that time to record our albums. This is way before we had enough money or even the idea to build our own studio to our liking, custom made, perfectly how we would want it, which it turned out to be Pink Moon Studios, where we recorded most of our records from 1975 on. And we modeled a lot of Pink Moon after Moberg. But the reason we never recorded again at Moberg, and we were planning to go right back up there in the summer when we were going to go back into the studio to make another record. And Moberg Studios burned down in May of that year, 1970, and that was right around the time we were going to start recording the second record. And we did start recording the second record that summer, so it was June and July that we recorded Run, the second album of 1970. Another distinction of sort of like Futchie trivia is that 1970 is the only year that we happened to put out two albums. And I think it could have happened any year. It's just the way that the recording and the release of each record before and after that, it just didn't happen to land the way it did that year, because we recorded this album, Broken Arrow, a picture frame, in the last 2 months, November and December of '69. So of course, the record's going to come out in January, or February at the latest, of 1970, and then you've got the rest of the whole year. Even if you go tour on that record or do promotion, you still got time to go back into the studio before the year is up. So we had planned on going right back to Moberg and recording our next album, which became the album Run. But we could not do that because the place burned down. I don't know exactly what the cause of the fire was. I think that the people who ran Moberg Studios were involved maybe in some shady dealings or some mob connections or something. Maybe it was burned down for insurance money, but whatever. It was a really great studio, and it's too bad that it did go up in flames. But a lot of aspects about that, and then of course many more things that we wanted and needed in a studio. But we modeled a lot of what eventually became Pink Moon Studios, our custom-made studios, after some things we loved about Moberg. So, anyways, that's it. That's Broken Arrow. The 50th Anniversary Deluxe Sunshine Factory Edition is available now. So I'm Maxwell Futchie, and thanks for sitting with me in these 3 segments and checking out this album. They want me to do this again next month for Run, and I would be more than happy to do that. So I'll see you then.